guys, today I want to talk a little bit about ballast. It's kind of the 3,000 pound gorilla in the room that a lot of manufacturers don't want to talk about, but today I want to shed a little bit more light on ballast. Factory ballast, actually, to be correct. For example, there's a few brands out there that are selling boats that do create a good wave, but what they don't show you is all the extra aftermarket ballast that's had to be added after the fact, which they can't even really sell those boats legally with all of the aftermarket ballast because they're putting so much into it that sticker on the side of the boat means nothing because of all the extra ballast weight that they're putting on top or piggybacking over the factory ballast system. Not only just the extra weight that we're talking about, but the extra time. And that's probably the biggest thing, the biggest misinformation out there is how much time it's taking to fill up the piggyback systems and then also having to empty the piggyback systems after you're done wake surfing or wakeboarding at the end of the day. I know for me, a big part of back in the day is there were certain hulls, certain boats, and no one really had enough ballast to begin with. So we were, piggybacking or ripping out tanks and putting in big, huge Enzo sacks in boats, not just Enzo boats, but Avalanches and Taigas, all kinds of different brands of boats. And we got a great wake, but in no way, shape, or form was it manufacturer ballast that we were using in those boats back in the days. I think you can definitely see certain brands are gearing towards having a maximum amount of ballast in the boat and following the rules by actually putting the amount of passengers available in the boat along with the maximum amount of factory ballast, and you don't have to add any ballast in some of the manufacturers' boats. And that's a big thing maybe to ask, when you're looking at new boats, asking the guy who you're buying it from, hey, what does this come with for ballast and what am I going to have to add aftermarket? If you're watching our videos, the Faction Marine videos, you're seeing no extra added ballast in our videos. I make it a point to tell people when they come to buy from us or look or ride with us that I don't add extra ballast because I don't believe in the false advertising. And some people feel comfortable with it, and it's fine as long as they're telling you that they have 500 pounds extra lead or fat sacks under the seat or extra couple fat buddies sitting up in the front of the boat when they're surfing that you don't see in the videos. But it's something that I don't think a lot of people really take or put into perspective. It's a huge part of buying the boat and the surf wave that it's going to give you when you walk out that door, and it's just you and your buddies in that boat. When I talk about ballast and how important it is, one of the big things for me personally has been, I don't compete as much as I used to just because my kids are growing up and they want to have time behind the boat and the business is growing and I have to focus my time there. But I'll tell you, when I get home and it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night and we've got an hour left at light and the kids are begging me to go, it's really important to me to be able to fill up my boat fast, go surf quickly, empty my boat fast, and get it back on the lift. And even if you don't have a boat like I have, there are other options out there. There's hydraulic lifts out there now that hold 10,000 pounds. There's even vertical lifts that hold 10,000 pounds where you can leave some ballast filled up in your boat, so you might only have to spend 2 or 3 minutes filling up your boat. Get out there, surf with your family, friends, 1 or 2 runs each, and then get back in a timely manner. But that all comes back to the ballast side of things and how important it is. Really, at the end of the day, is how much time does it take? Because I don't know about you, but I don't have 20 minutes to fill my boat, go surf, and then 20 minutes to wait for it to empty at the end of the day. And I think really that's the importance of ballast nowadays, because everybody has ballast, right? Everybody has surf systems. We've talked about that. We've talked about wave shapes, and that brings me to a whole other point. Having tons and tons and tons of ballast doesn't necessarily mean you have the best wave out there. I remember back in the day, I had an Epic, and it had the 8.1 liter big block, and man, that thing, we could throw fat sacks, all the weight we wanted in that boat, and we did it, trust me. And that boat would not produce a wave unless I drove around in a circle at 11 miles an hour, and it was awesome. until you started catching your waves coming around the other side of the lake. And I've got friends out there, Tommy Shasheen, pro surfer, he'll attest. He was one of the guys that surfed that boat with me, and it was great until the other waves caught up with you. And so it's not always the most ballast is the best ballast. The other thing can happen. I had an '04 Calabria way back when, and that thing was, it was a beautiful boat, was great for wakeboarding, but that 350 Merc it had, and it just couldn't handle all the ballast we wanted to put in it to surf. I mean, it took me half the lake to get to a cruising speed that we could even have a maintainable wave. And so, like I said, time. Time's a big important part of all this and a consideration. And I tie that in with the ballast because your expectation should be, it shouldn't take you 20 minutes to fill your ballast to get out and ride. And if it does, it's maybe time to take a look at what else is out there to save you the time if that's important to you. It's important to me, and I thought it'd be important to share that with you guys today as a consideration and something to look for when you're buying a new boat, a used boat, a surf boat in general, and making sure that you're making the most educated decision with what you're doing with your money and making sure you're buying the boat that fits you and your family. So when I talk about piggybacking systems, there's a lot of manufacturers out there. We've even done it on some older boats to save customers money. Piggybacking is when you have a built-in tank or something under the floor, over the floor, it doesn't matter. We're using the factory ballast weight of the factory aerator pumps to fill those, or Jabsco pumps, to fill those tanks. And instead of when they fill up, they overflow out the side, they overflow into a bag above, beside them, and the overflow goes into that bag until that bag overflows, and then the water goes out of the boat. That's what we call a piggyback system. And you see a lot of those out there. It's probably the least expensive thing to do besides literally throwing a bag in the back and throwing a pump over the side of the boat in order to gain your ballast. Are they easier to use? Yes. If it were me, I would rather take take a pump, throw it over the side, and plug that into the auxiliary power 12 volt and fill that at the same time that I'm using the factory ballast to fill the boat to save time. Because literally you can fill both of those at the same time, reducing your time in roughly about half on most boats. The new boats that are having 750 or 1,100 pound bags in the back of the boat. A big difference in the pumps too are aerator pumps versus Jabsco pumps. On most systems, an aerator pump is only able to pump one way. Like you need one to fill the bag and you need another to empty the bag. Typically when those go bad, you have to replace the entire pump. What we use a lot in aftermarket applications, and a lot of manufacturers are using them now, not everybody. What most people are using are Jabsco pumps or ballast puppies that are a reversible pump. So they'll pump water in, and then when you're done at the end of the day, they'll pump the water out. And what's nice about those is when they go bad, it's usually just the impeller, a $50 impeller that you have to pull out, replace, remove 3 screws. It's really easy to do. But the nice thing is too is those stop the water flow. You don't have to put in check valves on them, and they work very easy, simple, and they're usually in areas that are really easy to service even for the consumer. And they'll save you money in the long run because they're just easy to maintain. I'm not here to tell you what's right, what's wrong. I'm just here to try and inform you on what's out there and things to consider, especially when you're a first-time boat buyer. And whether you're buying new or you're buying used, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You can add the ballast puppies into an old boat and make an old boat pump way faster than what it would have stock. And you can take a brand new boat and slow it down so much by piggybacking it. If you have more questions regarding ballast, you can message us, leave a reply, give us an email, and we'll do our best to answer those. But I just wanted to try and help you guys out a little bit, maybe inform the people that don't have a lot of information out there, and let you know that there's always more to the story when it comes to ballast. Thanks for watching this, and thanks for following along, and stay tuned for more Talkin' Smart at Lunch.